What I want to talk about today is the amount of layoffs that are happening and are going to continue to happen. The individuals affected by it need to be aware of how their finances are. Whether you have been or about to, some of you maybe don't even know, the year's still young. We still all need to be very cognizant of what the finances look like in our own world. So this video is going to literally be about how to handle our finances, what we should be doing instead of what we're doing now. Alright, so first of all, I'm not a financial advisor. If you need professional help, seek a financial advisor for those things. I am just sharing my views, my thoughts, and what I do for financial independence. And I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of these things. So these are my 6 somewhat steps to become to get a better grip on your finances and be financially free. So first thing, obviously you want to have an employment. You want to be able to get paid. But when you're getting paid and you're earning money, you want to live a little bit below your means. You don't want to go ahead and start buying stuff and be very generous with your money to the economy. The economy is good, you know. That restaurant down the street or that superstore down the other street, they don't need your money. Your money's good. Just keep it to yourself and live below your means and sort of live frugal. And what you want to do is just make sure you have a budget of some sort that just takes care of all the basic needs that you need so that you know where your money's going. You know how your money is working. So the second thing that you want to do is set up an emergency fund. Most recommendations like $1,000 to $3,000. You know, I would set up to what you're comfortable with, but make sure that emergency fund is used for an emergency. Not because your Netflix is about to get canceled. That is not an emergency. Not an emergency. Emergency is if you drive your car from A to B to get to work and the car breaks down, but you need the car to get to work. That's an emergency. Use the money for that. If you can actually walk to work, don't use it. Get rid of the car actually. So with an emergency fund, and if you got up to at least try to do 1% of investing at that point. And 1% may not seem like a lot, but it's gonna over time compound and be great. So in most countries, most economically strong countries, you have things like stock investments, bonds, ETFs, things of that nature. You can simply invest into those things at 1%. You say you have a Robinhood account, look for a Vanguard stocks, and what you're going to do is just spend a little bit of money on those. Buy some of that each month with this 1%. Because our main thing is to get our emergency fund down up to at least $3,000 and make sure we have a strong job and we're living frugal. We're not going out just buying the world. Now, step 3, I would say, let's get rid of your debt. Let's get rid of high cost items. Say you have a fancy car, or just a car that in general costs quite a bit a month. Probably the easiest thing to do is sell it, get rid of it, get rid of the car payment altogether, buy another car that's like slightly cheaper but still works from A to B. That's all you need to do. You need to drive from one place to another. You don't need a car to impress anybody or to show your status to anybody else, because your status is broke. Until you get to a certain point, your status is broke. So don't have a car that's all fancy that says otherwise. So another thing would be, some people may be having houses that are just too big for them, too much. The house may be costing you monthly quite a bit, and you're not using it properly. You might be under. This might be too much. You might want to just sell the house, get into a new house, get into a smaller house, and start renting. Use the house hack it, start renting rooms out of the house, or refinance so that your monthly is a lot cheaper. So step 4 would be almost like the step 2, but you want to enhance your emergency funds. You want to boost it just a little bit more, just to have a little bit more buffer. And at the same time, you want to start putting more money into your investment accounts, or investments, because the end goal of getting your investments to actually pay for all your bills, to pay for all your vacations, to pay for everything you actually need. It's going to take time to do that. So you want to start putting as much as you can into your investments, especially all you younger individuals that are just jumping in the industry the last 2 to 3 or 4 years. Put almost all of it, like shamefully, just put almost all of it in there. And if you tell people, hey, I'm putting all my money into these investments, I'm not going out to eat, I'm not doing all these partying things, and they look at you strange, and they just like, man, you know, it's just weird. That's what you want. That's what you want. That feeling that you are just at the oddball. Put all that money into an investment. Trust me. 5 years from now, you're going to be thanking me. Okay, so with that, now let's talk about the actual investments. You want to make sure your investments are diversified. So investments that I do is your basic stocks. I do really boring investing as far as I have a Robinhood account and have a whole bunch of Vanguard stocks, and I may have a Waste Management here or a Nike here or Apple there, but my 90% of mine are S&P 500s, Vanguard stocks, ETFs that are basically stocks that incorporate the top 100 or 50 companies in the United States or Canada or overseas or globally, and those stocks pay out dividends either monthly, annually, or every 6 or quarterly. And those stocks eventually pay for, right now, smaller items. It may pay for my Netflix, it may pay for my electricity, but it's paying for something that I don't have to use my paycheck for. So with that, diversifying, we got the stocks, and I also do real estate. I have a couple of houses where I bought and I rent them out, and that money comes in, it pays for the house, it pays for all this stuff that needs to go on with that house, and the extra money comes back to me to either invest in more or to use to pay for my own bills. So that's the whole goal that you're trying to shoot for. And you can also invest and have your 401ks and your IRAs and everything else, but do understand those type of investments are not for the now. You have to wait until a certain time of the year where you can take money out, you know, when you're 60 and whatnot, and it's going to be taxed one way or the other. And by the time you do take it out, you may not have really much time to spend it, but at the same time, it's good to have for those golden years when you're nice and gray and whatnot. It's just sitting there. So don't stop putting money into your 401k, but just start putting more money into other investments that will eventually pay you now, which means by the time you get to retirement age, like everything's been being paid for the longest from your other investments. So the big thing now at number 6, what you want to have is 1 to 2 years of actual cash money to live off of. So if you were to stop working or stop doing everything, you have 1 to 2 years of cash to sort of live off of. Now, most of that, say 8,000 of it, is actually liquidated, so you can actually grab it at any time and use it. But the rest of it, maybe it's in an account that's or in stocks that's generating money or dividends over time. So not all that 2 years of worth of money is this in a savings account that's not doing nothing for you, but it's in a brokerage account that's growing as well. Because what happens is once you have that much amount of money into an investment, most likely that investment's paying off or paying a good chunk of, maybe it's your gas or your electric, some of your housing, whatnot. So just to recap a little bit, you have 1, you need to get an employment and you need to sort of live frugal, you're not spending everything. 2, you need to build an emergency fund over $1,000 to $3,000. 3, you need to eliminate your debt and also try to enhance your career. 4, you want to make sure you save an emergency fund up to 3 to 4 months, also boosting your investments so that you're putting like 50 to 80% of your paycheck into investments. And then 5, you want to make sure all those investments are diversified, so they're not all into stocks or they're not all into real estate. They're just diversified, and if you have small business, you can have into that as well. And then 6, for your financial freedom prep, you need to prep for this whole thing, is to have 1 to 2 years of income that you can live off of if everything just shuts down. So with that, hopefully that will get you onto the right approach that you need to do with all these layoffs happening and everything else to prep you for the next thing that may or may not happen. Because the biggest thing that you really want to have is at the end of all this is to save 4 to 5, 10 years into your career, you have the option to work. You don't have to work. It's basically you retire. It means many terms for it. You can do FIRE, which is, I think it's freedom, early retirement or whatever, but it's basically you're just having a choice. That's all it is. Retirement for me is just having a choice. Do I want to work or do I not want to work? Do I want to help others or do I want to use my time to try new things with my life or spend more time with the people I love? That's all it simply is. It does not necessarily mean stop working, stop being a productive citizen. You actually become more of a productive citizen with these resources. All right, so with that, there are a list of books that I'll recommend, and if you are wanting to learn more, I would suggest to check those out. But in the meantime, you all take care and be safe.